Okay, James and Jennifer Crumbley, the parents of this Michigan teenager who shot at his fellow classmates, killing four of them, they will remain behind bars. I'm not going to get into the conditions of, the ruling of the judge. I'm not going to analyze that. Conditions of release a lot of times have to do not only with the underlying case, but the behavior of the parties after the charges have been filed. In this particular case, the parents' attorney motioned to reconsider conditions of release to allow them to be released on bond. The judge denied that, stating, I guess in part, that they were hiding out at a Detroit office building when there was a warrant out for their arrest. I do want to get into the actual charge. It's quite unprecedented. I don't believe it's ever been done in one of these school shootings where the parents themselves have been charged, whether it be out in Colorado, Florida, Sandy Hook, any of these school shootings. I don't believe the district attorneys there have held the parents criminally responsible. They have here. The Oakland County prosecutor in Michigan has charged these parents with involuntary manslaughter. Involuntary manslaughter is pretty standard throughout the country, but in Michigan, particularly under the statute, the elements would state that the victim died because of the actions of the defendant. The actions taken were egregiously negligent, and remember that term, egregiously negligent, another classic legal term of art. And the second part of that element is that you intended to cause the victim harm, but not necessarily kill them. So the actions taken were egregiously negligent, and you intended to cause the victim harm, but not necessarily kill them. The second part of that is out of the picture here. There was no, it's pretty easy to prove that the parents did not intend to cause harm to these kids. So everything kind of focuses in on the first part. The actions taken were egregiously negligent. The third element is that the defendant did not have lawful justification for taking the victim's life, and clearly there was no lawful justification for taking the lives of these kids. So kind of focus on one and the first half of two. In regards to the elements of first one that I discussed was the victims died because of their actions. Was it their actions? Was it because the gun was accessible to this kid? The prosecutor will argue that this kid had access to the gun, and because of that access he did the shooting. So then I guess the argument can be made that the victim died because of the actions of the parents. The first part of the second element, I should say, is where this case will really hinge on, whether the actions taken were egregiously negligent. This is one of these classic term of arts that even attorneys really, can't really understand. As far as the threshold is concerned, this is where advocating comes in. You have to kind of figure out what is the threshold between for egregiously negligent, just like you would be arguing beyond a reasonable doubt versus clear and convincing evidence and things of that sort. So egregiously negligent. I'm going to do something that I don't normally do here. I'm going to leave it up to you, the peanut gallery, to determine whether the actions taken were egregiously negligent. Here we are, and I know in a few of my other these legal news analysis of the weeks, I've kind of treaded carefully between the world of law and the world of politics. I don't want to, I want to stay, above politics. I know there's heated emotions on both sides of the gun debate, just as there is an abortion that I kind of touched on in previously in regards to the Supreme Court. But I'm going to leave it up to you. One side of the argument will be that, you're entitled to have guns. You should protect your home and your family. There's nothing wrong with having in your home. Other people will say that, hey, maybe you shouldn't have guns at all. Or if you do have it in your home, your child should not have access to it, or it should be locked up, especially if it's a child who has mental deficiencies or has been, or that child could possibly cause danger. I guess this child was having some counseling sessions. I think the parents had to meet with the school administration there because there was apparently concerns about his mental health and the possibility that he could be a danger. So if there are red flags that are raised, do parents have a responsibility to make sure that that their children don't have access to these guns? And if these children do have access to these guns, and they do something like this, whether it be shooting at their fellow classmates or shooting at anybody or doing anything dangerous with that gun, are you responsible because you were egregiously negligent? And in this particular case, when it comes to involuntary manslaughter, were these parents egregiously negligent in causing this child or causing these kids to be killed by their son because they allowed him access to this weapon. So I'll let you decide that. I'm not going to, for once, I'm not going to opine on anything. This isn't Johnny Depp. This isn't one of these other things. It's a very serious situation, and it's also there's a this heated debate about on both sides of this, and I'll let you, everybody out there, decide whether these parents were in fact egregiously negligent. I really feel that that case hinges on that term of art, egregiously negligent. And if they are found, if you do believe that they were egregiously negligent, then there's a good likelihood that the district attorney there will prevail, and these parents could be found guilty of involuntary manslaughter by the Oakland County, Michigan judge. Okay, thank you very much. Have a great rest of the day. Have a great weekend, and I hope you have a very good upcoming week. Thank you.